I'm Savvi Hue, aka the corporate Trap Gawd.
I'm the Juice Queen, formerly known as Dani Rai.
Who wouldn't date a bus driver?
That's all it is to him. If he ain't got nothing else going on, and he introduces himself as, "Hey, I'm the bus driver," probably not. Because that's the problem with asking that type of question. Can I get more context, please?
That's the question. That's what Ayanla's, this the great,
because
the
this
great
is my
sister
thing.
asked.
When you meet somebody, they don't lead with, "Hey, how you doing? I'm a bus driver." You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't know. If we kicked it and he was cool and, you know what I'm saying, like we connected and it was a vibe, and then he just happened to mention he drive buses, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, you drive buses, I'm out." You know what I'm saying? Like, probably not. I'm probably gonna be like, "Oh, okay, that's what's up. They got good benefits. Like, you know, you like it? How long is your route? You know, what about them hostile people that be coming on? How you deal with that?" You know, I might have questions, but if we connecting already and it's synergy, then it's unlikely I'm gonna bow out just because he mentions that he's a bus driver. I just think that asking that kind of question is really unfair. You know what I'm saying?
Because what makes it unfair in your opinion?
Because it doesn't have any context to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many other things that need to be added to make it a whole question. You know what I mean? Like, because you don't generally just date somebody based on what it is that they do. You know what I mean? Like, if you made your dating choices based on what people do, then I guess it's a sufficient question.
I think for some people, they do make their dating choices on, because how many times, I'm gonna ask y'all folks out there, how many times have you met somebody and one of the initial questions they ask you upon meeting them is, "Well, what do you do?" Like, have you never heard that?
Honestly,
I've heard that before.
I've never had a man ask me that. I've only had a woman ask me that before.
Well, women do tend to ask that, so that's definitely been an experience that a lot of folks have had.
Not in a romantic way, by the way. It was just a wife of a guy I was talking to, and she just was like, "So what do you do?" You know, and, "Well, I do this, 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 and that." But this is an indication of the type of person. I don't think it's like exclusive to like females or black women. There are some people who they lack the ability to like pick up, you know, a vibe or create or have a connection with somebody. You know, they lack intuition. They lack when they exchange with people. You ever meet people who like are uncomfortable with silence, or just feel like they just got to be running their mouth or just be saying something, or you might meet a person who, when they first meet you, they got to ask you 21 questions, like back to back to back to back, and now you feel like it's an interview. There are some people who really lack social skills, like the ability to just vibe and kind of depend on their intuition and just flow naturally. There's a lot of people who struggle with making organic connections, like a lot. Like, I have said in my dating life, if you want to call it that, I have said myself, "Why are you asking me so many questions?" Like, and their response is, the guy usually goes, "I'm just trying to get to know you." And then my response is like, "That's not how you get to know someone. It's by asking them a shit ton of questions. In fact, a pair of lips will tell you anything. Like, you need to like be around, have some experiences." That's why dating and intentional dating is important, because when you do things with people, fun things, not just eating, you know what I'm saying, but any type of interaction that actually puts you in different settings, you tend to get to know people over time. Asking them a bunch of questions in an interview style is not, oh, it's so obnoxious. Oh my God, it is so obnoxious. So like, I think saying a question like, "Would you date a bus driver?" or somebody who asks you straight out, "Well, what you do," upon meeting you, who may be interested in you, that is an indication of that type of mentality that, and probably an indication that they really lack social skills. Like, they just struggle with connecting. And that is actually pretty common. And I blamed it on like this whole social media stage. You know, how many times have you met somebody who's like, "Oh, you know, you got an Instagram account?" Instantly. It's like, let me go look and see everything I can about you to try to make my assessment, or to try to connect with you based on what I see that you post. You know what I'm saying? Versus, damn, let me just have an organic interaction with you and we'll see what happens. You know, like, I hate that we kind of are in this time frame of like social media and persona versus actually really getting to know somebody in a natural way.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing with technology, right? It's intended to connect you more with people, but actually it's causing more of a disconnect, especially on a true organic, social level. But what can we really do about that?
And not only that, it's like also perpetuating this idea of like everybody lives this glammed up, glorious type lifestyle, so now that's the goal. You know what I mean? Let me see your Instagram so I can see how, great and amazing your life is, and I can determine if I want to be a part of it.
Oh yeah. People determine like whether you exist or not if you have an Instagram or not, and whether or not your Instagram actually shows that you are somebody of active and importance or somebody of status through your Instagram. Like they want to see your lifestyle, basically through your Instagram.
I have so much respect for people who have platforms, because there has been many people who've had platforms that followed me when I had no followers. Like one person I know in particular, she still follows me. Like, and I had maybe like 600 followers at one point when she started following me. And I have since seen, her following get bigger and bigger and bigger. But she's married to a very well-known hip-hop artist. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, I can appreciate, she just liked the content for what it was, or thought I was a cool chick or whatever, and followed me. So I can appreciate people who actually find diamonds in the rough, or find people who they think is just cool regardless to what everybody else thinks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just, this is a different age. And to get back to the topic, as far as dating down, I think that if you have the type of mentality where you're basically putting people in a class system, then I guess that topic is for those type of personalities. My personality is like, if we got a good connection, first of all, to have a good connection with me is like you doing something. There's one that's an indication that you have really, really good potential. Now, rather you have arrived to your zenith or you on your note or whatever, it may be a different story. But if I'm talking to you and I'm fully engaged, that suggests really, really great potential. Now, from there, I can determine if that's all it is potential, or if it's potential that is sort of blossoming, like, and it's growing. If it's stagnant, then I'm probably not gonna fuck with you. It's, at some point it's just gonna waver, naturally. It's gonna fade, you know what I mean? Because I'm still gonna be moving, I'm still gonna be making things happening, and you're gonna be stagnant. That's a natural progression. I'm gonna keep going until I find someone who can keep the same energy or complements the energy.
No, I feel you. I mean, I don't want to make this into a man and woman issue, but I think like going back to one of my original point about like getting asked the question, what do you do, or whatever, that is typically usually a question a woman would ask. But, by nature, women are more hypergamous. Men just want to kind of, rock with who they are feeling, like just off of, hey, man, I think you're dope, or, I like you, or whatever, you're attractive to me, or whatever. So let me ask you, how do you feel about like the whole controversy? I mean, basically I want to bring this home for people that don't know exactly what we're talking about. I mean, unless you really haven't been on social media at all. You saw the recent controversry with Ebony K. Williams and the Iyanla and Van Zant interview. So how do you feel about that whole sequence of events, or that controversy that's now been sparked due to that conversation about if she would date a bus driver or not, and then the doubling down on that?
I think ideally, as women, we all have in our head like what our Prince Charming will look like, right? It's this sort of fantasy, and the more accomplished we are, the more we hold on to that fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, because now it's like I feel like I deserve this type of man because I poured so much into myself, and have gotten to this point. I feel like somebody should come along and match my energy. You know what I'm saying? Match my status, whatever. Like, I understand that. However, I've seen a lot of women, like more than I can count, have desires and have this ideal Prince Charming in their head. And then you look up and you're like, but him? You know what I mean? Like, wait, what? Like, how did you end up with him? Like, there's no way you should even be with this guy. On the outside looking in, it's all like, why did she choose him? And what it really boils down to is there's a chemistry there that we can't see because we're on the outside looking in. There's something he did to fill a void, or something that she was, you know, she needed, that he was able to fulfill, that, you know, somebody else, you know, wasn't around to do so. So I think that it's easy for us to say, oh, I want this, or I wouldn't date this guy, or I wouldn't date that guy. But trust me, honey, somebody come along and hit it just right, you know what I'm saying, and
talk
make
about
you
it.
feel good as a woman, you know, like feel protected, supported, and also like is really standing in his manhood. Prince Charming just got a facelift. You know what I'm saying? Like Prince Charming looks different now.
The frog is not a prince.
That's just how it goes.